It'll be gathered by Equitrans. It'll probably go to Macintosh, but I can't say that with certainty. I can't speak to that at all. I don't think so, but I honestly, I don't work for Equitrans. I don't have any idea what they're capable of.
Well, that's where I want to speak. My name's Darla Safco, and I live across the street from the Macintosh compressor station, and the noise is bad enough now. And when we went through that conditional use permit hearing, we were told by EQT that it was going to run at 37 decibels per their sound study. It's never run at that. It's probably like I'll go out in the morning with my phone and look at I'm running at 60, and we're supposed to have a 55 limit. And actually FERC for continuous use is 46.8. And what I'm afraid of is they're going to run these lines and they're going to want to expand that compressor station. It's going to be unbearable there. And I have contacted the township. I actually have a letter or an email from February 2020, and I was never answered about the noise. We just quit. We quit coming to the township because we got nowhere here. And I just wanted to let you guys know that you better fight for what you want in this conditional use permit hearing, because if you want water testing, it better be in there, or it's never going to happen. I mean, this is the way it is. I've lived through it. I mean, I can't open my windows anymore.
I can't speak to Macintosh because it's
I know, but I'm just letting everybody up here know what's going on, and let these people know that you got to fight for what you want, or you're going to get screwed. And it's just like the pollution. Hey, I get smell all the time at my house. The DEP, the canister was from me because I complained, because we keep getting a smell. And I tell them it smells like burnt wire. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm breathing in. I got a canister in my yard for 24 hours. That's it. Well, that's not helping me. That smell, how do you know when the smell's going to come? You know? Yeah, I mean, I got a problem. You know, we all do. But we quit coming here because we weren't getting anywhere with the township. So, I mean, is anybody going to help? These people are going to need help. What are you guys going to do? And I mean, I had a note too, like, for that, I'm on the west side too. So I'll probably get your noise from across the hill from this drilling, because it's going to be open to the west.
Shit, I'll get it too then.
Yeah, and I mean, and the conditional use permit hearing, let me tell you what. When they built that compressor station, they went out on Finley Valderrama Road, put mud all over the road. I argued with Jared D'Amico from Harshman, and he said, "Oh, there's nothing we can do. That's a state road." It was in your thing that they had to keep the road clean, and they finally got, before I got splattered and my car got damaged. But so you got it. I mean, I'm telling you, people. I have been through this. I'm still living through it. It's not gotten any better. At least they'll drill the well and it'll be done for you. I'm 24/7 across from that compressor station, and there is no, I mean, I've been here before. You guys know it. We quit coming because you weren't giving us any help, or you weren't asking EQT, why isn't your compressor station running, like you said, at 37 decibels? There's no help.
We put too much in one area.
Yeah, where you are. This is well number 4 for Union Township. I mean, it's ridiculous. And it's just, I mean,
Taxes ain't getting any lower.
but where's my help for my problem? Silence. And that's what, so be prepared. Be prepared.
Todd Jones, I got a couple questions. You brought up the road, so going up Finley Harding Road, what's that? Todd Jones?
Stand up, please.
Coming up the road right past where the lease road is going to be, the road is caving in. I get it, the township's gonna say state road. March 1st or 31st, we're gonna start bringing in the equipment to build the bath.
Mm-hmm.
Who's responsible for the state to fix the road? It's already caving in. That's-
We are working with the state right now to develop a plan for repairs.
All right, second thing, the house on the property that you just acquired, is it getting knocked down?
Yes.
The barns and all the outbuildings?
I can't speak to all the outbuildings. I suspect they will. I know that we did asbestos inspections on the location in anticipation of demolishing the house.
Lauren Conley again. I have a question. What are your plans to, for those of us who have adjoining properties to the Sarah Well, who do not have leases? What are you gonna do to get us leases?
What are we gonna do? What I would tell you in that case, if you're interested in leasing with EQT, we have an owner relations hotline, start there.
Well, aren't you supposed to pursue us?
I'm in permitting, I don't pursue anybody.
You being EQT.
They
Yes.
already
That's my
did.
first question.
Isn't
Yeah.
that what the class
There's
action is
several
about?
of my neighbors who do not have
Mhm.
leases, and we're sure you're gonna be pulling gas out from underneath their property.
Are you sure you own your minerals?
Huh?
Are you sure you own your
Oh,
minerals?
yeah.
Okay.
Great.
All kidding aside, if you have
They're in a
like
class
leasing
action
concerns,
lawsuit.
I would start, and you want to
Under the
lease, I would start
Well,
with
we need,
the.
you should have leases before you even begin any of this stuff, from the people who have properties adjoining.
Before we begin drilling?
Yes, the second point, my second point is, how are you doing this when you are in a class action suit right now for storing gas under all of our property?
I'm not familiar with the specifics of a class action lawsuit, so
What does it matter?
this is the
This
first
is I don't know.
so.
Yeah, for
Well,
posting.
I would investigate that, because you shouldn't be going full steam ahead, because you're just putting one thing on top of another. Because we have
Can
a
you
class
ask the
action
permit?
suit right now with
Does
EQT
like the
because we're storing gas
ordinance
under our property.
65 and
And we just by
75
chance
decibels?
found this out, we have no reason to do
What
this,
they
no
said.
permission to do this, and now you're
They're
gonna
trying
do
to
this.
sneak it into the lease that they own.
Yeah, you did try to sneak it in.
Yes,
Noted.
again.
That, okay, just make sure that's noted, and somebody needs to do something about that before you go full steam ahead with this new adventure that you're on.
Too late.
Jacob Calabrese, one more question. For the well pad area, are you anticipating removing a lot of the vegetation and trees, right, that are there? in addition to
Flooding.
Where the well pad's built, yeah, we'll have to build a well pad.
that? Okay, so my concern is, I'm new to the township. We live on Lobs Run Road. Lobs Run Road is experiencing.
Sir, could you, can you be, so that we can take this down?
Lobs Run Road is experiencing significant flooding. It appears as though that may have been stemming from the deforestation of the McIntosh compressor area. Right, not a lot of vegetation matter to actually hold the rainwater coming down. Lobs Run Road, as a result, I'm sure you guys are familiar, experiencing significant flooding. We've had horrible flash floods.
Which, excuse me,
yeah, go
which
ahead.
we've been there for 20-some years. We've never, ever had flooding like we've had in the past, since the station's been built. Like unbelievable flooding,
So my concern now is looking at the topography of this area. It's pretty evident that any rainwater that's going to be falling here is going to be coming down, hitting Lobs Run, increasing the amount of water storage that creek is going to need. Has that been discussed? Are there plans? I don't think that's a state road. I think that's a township road. Again, it's collapsing, right? So I want to make sure that the township is recognizing that. Do we have a plan to address that? That's already way beyond capacity.
Stormwater management is a significant component of the ESCGP permit. As far as what the DEP requires us to do is to match, for every drop of rain that falls now, we're only allowed to, let that drop of rain that would generally fall off of the site as it exists now to fall off in the future after the site's developed.
That makes sense. And I do recognize that, again, to the board, I would want to express that with McIntosh, it seems quite clear that whatever remediation has been set up in place is not functioning as I would anticipate. And I've got a lot of video proof if you need to see what the flooding looks like. It's pretty intense. We nearly lost our barn. So I do hope that there is consideration of that. Again, that creek is way beyond max capacity. Now we're talking about developing more in that watershed. I hope that there's a plan for that.
Darla Safko. I just want to say, I have a video of water coming off their hill from that compressor station. Like, I know they have a retention pond, but I got a video of the water during a rainstorm. It shouldn't be coming down. It should be going into a retention pond. And that's why the road's caving in down there, is because because we never had a problem. We went through Hurricane Ivan and never had a problem flooding down there. Oh, and I wanted to comment too, I forgot to ask this. When you had, for the sound, and you had the barriers up, you said that the township ordinance is 75 during the day and 65 at night for sound?
Correct.
Is that correct?
For
I-
temporary construction activities, they can be plus 15 during that time period, so the
Okay.
level is 60. So that's why I talked about, after it's completed, they then have to come back and do another study, once all the temporary construction activities are done, and they have to come back into compliance with the standards that meet for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, two comments there. Number one is, once the facility goes into production, it is a very passive site, okay? The noise levels are pretty much non-existent or certainly very minor. Secondly, with respect to Macintosh, which again, different company now, we understand some of the concerns there, and the township actually amended your ordinance to have that separate decibel standard for what's called DVC instead of DVA that applies to permanent facilities like that. So,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Without money to transfer too much, but yes, the ordinance that this is being considered under is a different ordinance than the ordinance that Macintosh came through on. And some of the elements in here, including what Attorney Lucas stated, were an attempt to address the concerns that were raised and some of the, I don't want to say issues, but some of the difficulties the township had in potentially enforcing the noise or sound related complaints that they were receiving from residents. So can't speak to that decision. That's not presently in front of us. That's not even the ordinance that's in front of us. But again, as you stated, you're living with that. This board, again, you don't want to say live and you learn, but they have attempted to address that by amending the ordinance to try and.
What's the amendment? Sorry. To the ordinance.
Yeah, we can talk after, but without.
about a year ago.
I mean, there was multiple items. That would just muddy this transfer.
The ordinances are on our website too, if you'd like to look them up.
I will look them up. So,
Again, not to diminish any concerns about Macintosh, we're not here on that tonight.
No, but this is Laura Conley again. We are here on EQT, and I want to, this is being said in this meeting, and what happens normally when I've been to other meetings, it's said, it's documented, and you go on with life and nothing's done about it. Is there gonna be an action plan to try to get us leases for this gas and to resolve the gas storage issue that we're having right now? Is there anything that you are going to do? Are you gonna put an action plan together?
That is not, the township has no jurisdiction with subsurface activities with those, that's not the purview of this hearing, that's beyond the township's scope. If you have a private legal lawsuit against them for trespass, that's between you and EPT.
Okay, well then I'm gonna put it in your lap then. Are you gonna do something?
I tried to tell you to call our landowner folks, and you weren't open to that, so you've exhausted my options.
Oh, sorry.
Again, I'll be perfectly clear, I don't do leases, so.
One option.
Joe.
we've tried to negotiate with EQT, but they have not, it was your way or the highway. So it was not to the benefit of the landowner. Now, there's 2 class actions against EQT right now. One's in Allegheny County for not paying landowners and basically taking their gas. So that needs to be addressed by the board. Are you gonna let your township members be stomped on by EQT?
This is the first I'm hearing. I never heard of anything about it.
Look it up, class action Allegheny County, EQT.
Again, that's a private property dispute, there's a forum for dealing with that.
Come on, they're taking advantage of your citizens. You have to do something.
I don't think
Excuse me, I wasn't
Please
sworn
either.
in, but I can give my name if.
No.
Sure.
solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but
Michelle,
the truth. Your name?
Janet Hollingsworth. Do you want the address?
Sure.
69 Hobbit Lane. I just had a question about with the deforestation that you were mentioning. I've not been around when there was an active well being drilled, so I don't know how this works. Do you guys, or does somebody come and plant trees for all that are removed so that we can sort of maybe in 10, 15 years have a little bit of a buffer for the flooding that's happening? Because I agree with you. I drive that road. I know that it was not that bad before, so.
I mean, the flooding, and you can probably touch on this more than me, is that's what the stormwater retention facility are for, is to control flooding, to control releases from the site, to keep them in line with how the site was before the well pad was built.
So as far as the DEP, they don't require you to do any planting of trees when you're done?
They're moving towards, to be honest, they make us remove more trees than we want to remove in the first place, and a lot of it is to build these stormwater facilities. There is water quality calculations that are taken into effect now that do require reforestation in some cases. In most, what they're looking for is a wet pond, a rain garden with specific bushes and soil mixtures that we need to put in. We don't routinely go out and just knock down trees that aren't in the area where we need to build something, so there's not a lot of opportunity for reforestation.
Just one more question, George Pepke. I know they come out years ago and inspected my foundation, and everything for cracks and et cetera, et cetera. Is EQT still gonna be responsible if my foundation starts cracking more for any reason? Because I know we're on solid bedrock. There's a lot of bedrock up there you're gonna be going through, so, and it's gonna vibrate and move. I'm just wondering, are you responsible for my house?
What I would recommend there, if you do have an issue, contact one of us at EQT, and we'll send somebody, probably a service use agent, to meet with you and investigate that matter.
Like I said, they've already come out, all these houses that was closed and inspected the foundations, took pictures and everything. So once you start drilling, I start finding bigger cracks, who's responsible?
Well, that's what I'm saying, call us and we'll investigate the issue with you.
EQT did that survey?
Somebody come out. I don't know if it was.
I
mean, you've had leases with different people, then they bought them up, this one bought them up, and EQT's got them. So who in the hell knows, excuse me, who knows who actually was out there and did it?
That's when they did that.
Wasn't Chesapeake way back?
No, it was Range Resources.
Range.
Chesapeake.
So
I
now
remember
EQT
They did
Chesapeake.
that seismic test.
So do they have any records? I mean, they need to come out and look at my foundation again?
Range would have never shared with us the results of any foundation survey.
Well,
If
need
you
to
have
somebody
concerns
come
about
out.
your foundation, we have in the past done surveys of people's foundations and documented what the existing condition is. If that's a
Well, I want it-
specific concern of
I want it
yours.
done because if you start drilling, and then I gotta come back and fight you, I want it done before you even start drilling that.
This was already
I
permanent.
mean, I'm the closest one, 200 feet
I thought it was done.
from the property. And basically, everything's going right over past me, I get nothing out of this. But I can't even get a good answer of what you can do for me.
You get elevation?
Yeah, but, they need to come out and inspect it. I'm the closest one. I'm the only foundation within that area. Sarah has a trailer.
Okay. Who's your landman? Sean Dunham?
You tell me. I have no idea.
Brian Polk works this area. I made a note. The best I can do for you here tonight is I made a note to get the surface use agent in contact with you, and you can. His name's gonna be Brian Polk, and he can get in contact with you and address some of these concerns. And he negotiates that stuff. We don't. Again, we
You
get
have another
permits.
form
So
or something I can have in case you don't call me? I mean,
call me.
Mr. Pesky, this is Brian Polk
There
here.
you go.
from EQT.
Oh.
I will reach out to you and set up a meeting to come meet with you.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, just so everyone, there was a lot of questions, a lot of comments, again, this is a conditional use hearing tonight for the township. A lot of the questions, concerns, the township's preempted from handling, that's not the scope of this. That doesn't mean you can't keep contacting the township. To the questions about McIntosh, again, those are unrelated. But the township has, just so the individuals that are here that may not have been there present, the township did hire a sound engineer outside of that to try and work with and try and address the McIntosh issues. They've adopted new regulations based off of their findings. I was personally on the site. I know that they added additional padding and took additional measures. If that's still not sufficient and you don't believe they're meeting township code, let the township know. I know you're frustrated, but I just so that the residents that may not be living with that and have questions and fears, I just want you to know that the board they hired a standalone from Pittsburgh Township sound engineer that came. They had the previous engineer here research out in Colorado, Texas, search to see what they dealt with. So this board will, they are preempted from a lot of the questions you have with the water testing, with a lot of those items. Unfortunately, that's what the law says. But as far as the things that they can't control, the sound, the noise, the road issues, I know it's a state road, but that's still, if there's traffic issues, all of those items, please be sure to contact the township. And there are, as we talked about, in addition to the sound requirements, additional noise, there's a dust ordinance, so the gentleman that talked about that, contact them, and if you contact and you don't believe whoever you're speaking with is responding, please reach out directly to the township or come to a meeting. I know that's inconvenient, but I don't know how else you can, the board can react, but I do just want to say from my own experience that the McIntosh matter was not taken lightly by this board. What was approved previously, that is what it is, unfortunately, but they have an attempt to address that, so don't feel like you can't express it. Some of those things might be out of their purview, but the township, you could come and you maybe request the township write a letter to the DEP. If you don't think you as a landowner is getting responded to, ask the township to possibly do that. There might be some weight behind that as far as the water testing or other concerns. So don't be afraid to do that, but as far as what is in front of this board tonight, those matters and about lease concerns and those things, the board just can't, the board doesn't have any authority on that. So I don't want you to think that they're turning a blind eye to that, but they just don't have any authority on that. So
We're your citizens. You should be here to support us. That's why we pay you. So that's why I think that someone on your board should investigate this and investigate the storage that's taking place, that has been taking place even without our knowledge for a number of years. Now that it's come to light, everybody's just going, okay, that's not us, that's not us. That's number one. Number two is the leases.
And at the
Why don't
beginning,
you have a-
didn't you say, Leah Fink, at the beginning, didn't you say that you had the ability to add conditions on
Yeah.
the granting of of this permit? And it's our duty as the citizens to make you all aware of things that you're not aware of?
okay, it's noted for the record.
So can't you all make some conditions on this?
You can attach.
There you
reasonable
go.
conditions.
That's perfect. It's a perfect win-win right there.
Darla Safko, just for the people that have the water issue, why can't you put it in the conditional use permit that they get their water tested on a monthly basis so that they can feel like secure in drinking that water? That could be part of your permit, or
For city water.
We've
Yeah.
been trying to get connected to city water since we bought our property. I mean, it does not seem unreasonable if we live in a home in which we are in danger potentially, right? And right now, the way this is set up, it is retroactive. And so we need to find the problem first. The emphasis is on me to do that, right? That does not seem right.
No.
The same thing with the leases. They should have a radius around this well that they have to have secured leases. What's so hard about that?
Proceed with anything.
No, go right ahead. I don't think the board's aware of what's happening in the rural world which we live in.
The final thing that I want to bring up as well, when I look at my street, we are young, right? This township needs to get more young people in. We would have never bought this property had we known that this was happening. And I would be shocked if others would as well. So I highly encourage the board. The world is changing. We need to make sure that we are being responsible, that we are listening to the concerns here. And I think they're very valid. I don't want money, I don't want to lease, I want my family to be safe, and I want to live in peace, right? And that's what's in question here right now. If you want to get a younger, this township's going to start turning over. Start to think about what we want the future of this to look like, please.
Sean, Adele, the township manager, do you have anything you want to add